one of the things that Formula One does very well is they constantly review their objectives and their performances ultimately. I mean, I think that's very dependent on what business and what industry they're in. But I think it's really important to understand your competitors and evaluate what makes your business unique as well. You know, there's very much an element of what makes you special. But I think, you know, any good business has to look ahead for the opportunities, and they have to understand what success looks like for them. You can't achieve high performance if you don't know what success looks like for you. And then once you know what success like, that kind of big goal, whenever that might be, then you can start setting yourself goals and targets. And, you know, really, one of the things that Formula One does very well is they constantly review their objectives and their performances ultimately, whether that's in success and failure. And ultimately, it's very much sort of keeping yourselves honest to those, but also accepting that sometimes things might be different. On top of that, you've got to get people's buy-ins and you've got to set the expectations within the organization. But probably the most important thing that I always say to clients is just be patient with the process. In order to achieve high performance, if you've been a business that's been going for a number of years, it's not going to be overnight. I think with periods of immense change, if you've got the luxury of time, I think you have to make sure that you've got the basics right to build on. If you haven't, and when I say that the basics to build on, if you can have an agile structure, then obviously you can adapt quite quickly. But if something really is changing and you really need to, it's not going against the plan, communication's key. Like, you've just got to communicate to your business, and you've got to keep everyone in the picture with different levels of information. But ultimately, if you're not communicating, even if you've got nothing to say, make sure that you're dictating what's being said within the organization. That's really important, because you're getting your message out there that people can follow ultimately. I think the key with building resilient corporate teams, communication is key. You've got to be able to keep people in the picture of what you're trying to achieve ultimately. In terms of building the resilience, again, that comes from experience, it comes from training. I think also, leaning on people's experiences. There is a vast amount of experience within businesses and different teams, and it's about understanding what people can bring to that. And you are a team ultimately, and everyone's different. And if you can have a variety of skills and talents in those teams, with everyone that's got a different uniqueness to them, because we're all unique, that's really important as well, and that builds up resilience in terms of utilizing those experiences. It's really like a football team getting their team sheet together and everyone having being in the right position in order to take on the challenge ahead of them.